Of course, still making the headlines is the Shattered Dreams, a standard newspaper, of the 32 Kenyans who lost their lives. And it's not just, it's such a trying moment for the country and of course the world at large, because different countries lost their loved ones, but Kenya had the biggest number of casualties at the end of the day. What would you like to say about all this? Because here are parents, grandchildren, children, wives, husbands, there's a priest, there's a nun. I mean, the country is really, really mourning at this time.
Yeah, it's true. But I think for me, the saddest scenario out of this is the fact that it looks like this may not be a one-off. Mm-hmm. When you look at the details and you want to look at the media and listen and read the stories that are being written about this aeroplane, is that actually the Dreamliner is a failed exercise, is a failed experience. And I think the sadness of this is that it could have been avoided. Mm-hmm. I happen to be very lucky and have a young brother of mine who's actually been a pilot for the last 25 years, but he retired about 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And when I was talking with him, he said even the very senior KQ pilots who've been flying the Dreamliner raised these issues with the Boeing people. Mm-hmm. And they discussed it with them and they told them that the plane actually had certain technical problems. And when I was trying to ask, because I'm completely not capable of scientifically evaluating an aeroplane, the young man told me that the plane is designed in such a manner that when it's put on autopilot and it starts flying, you cannot actually reverse that decision. Okay. And he says that in terms of science, every scientific design is designed in such a manner that when you engage any movement, whether forwards or backwards, that exercise can be reversed. Okay. And for me, and then you look at, for example, Al Jazeera did a story on the same aeroplane and what the challenges have been at Boeing. And it is a very interesting story if you look at it on its own. Okay. Finally, I think for me, it's really sad. We lost too many people. Recently, we've been having a lot of air crashes. One of them, I'm actually involved because one of my relatives was flying a helicopter. He also crashed. I think 2 weeks ago, there was a fixed aeroplane which crashed in Narok. It's not good for our country. Okay. Yes.
Okay. I know this is not the right time to ask this question because, I mean, globally, people are still mourning. Families have been affected. Questions are being asked as they seek answers. But as an advocate, are we looking at a situation whereby families are likely to file suit, or even Ethiopian Airlines is likely to file suit against the Boeing company?
Yes, of course. But first and foremost, allow me to send my sincere and heartfelt condolences to all those affected here at home and abroad. We lost 32 citizens as a country, and remember, even those holding most foreign passports were in one way or the other connected to the country. They were either coming here to see their family members or coming here for business. So Sunday was a sad day. This week will be a sad week for the whole country, and I wish to condole with all those affected. Of course, if it is determined that the aeroplane came down due to a technical fault occasioned by the negligence on the part of Boeing, of course, Boeing should be held liable, and they should compensate the families accordingly. They should also compensate Ethiopian Airlines accordingly. Should Ethiopian airline personnel be found to have been culpable, again, they will be held liable. The good thing with the aviation industry is that they are required as a matter of law to have proper insurance cover in case of such instances. So those those affected might take solace in the fact that they will get some sort of compensation. Yes.
So we are likely to see, issues of probably legal issues rising during this time.
Usually with the airlines, they are quick to take responsibility and adequately compensate those affected. That is why that's why we rarely hear of any lawsuits involving aircraft accidents.
Okay.
But in case there is a push and pull, it might come to that.
Okay.
I believe that there's a likelihood that we're going to have what is called a class, he would know better, class action suit, where all the relatives or all the victims of this accident, if it is indeed found out that the negligence in terms of the design and the mechanical operationalization of this aircraft falls back onto Boeing, I believe that a lawsuit will have to be brought in, not even for the sake of the compensation, but for the fact that there might be individuals who would want Boeing to be held accountable, to be held responsible, because there's a very interesting scenario. There's a flight that went down a while ago, it's about a year ago, in Thailand.
And there was one also in Indonesia.
Indonesia, thank you, that's the one I'm talking about. The way the flight came down is exactly the way this one has come down. In other words, it took about 6 minutes, it didn't go beyond a certain height. The pilot was talking nearly the same language like the pilot who was flying the plane yesterday, day before yesterday. So what is happening is a lot of people are going to begin raising the very critical questions, and that is, because when a flight comes down, again, I'm learning this from my younger brother, he told me there are always two things that you talk about. Actually, there are three, but usually two are the ones which everybody looks at. One is weather. The second one is the capacity and capability of the training of the pilot. And the other one is the design of the aeroplane. There are certain aeroplanes that don't go to certain places or don't go to certain heights. Therefore, the training is given to the pilot to fly like a fixed wing, you know, these small things which fly around. You are not supposed to go beyond 15,000 feet. A helicopter, you're not supposed to fly it when the weather is in such a manner. So the scenario that I foresee is that in the near future, even when there could be compensation, even when the airlines would come in very quickly, the insurance companies to pay the people and everything, but I think the very painful scenario, and you might find some people may find it very difficult to close out of this scenario. So people may actually decide to go to court to have Boeing held responsible if they're culpable.